Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing sort of a character spotlight, character in review video for Tyreese, and also we're going to answer the common question, which is, what would have actually happened had Tyreese chosen to initially, so at the beginning of The Walking Dead Season 5, kill Martin? So I was going to do this as a Q&A, but I decided, you know what, I was intending to do a Tyreese character spotlight, but I didn't want to do it too soon because I didn't want people to think that, oh, spoilers, you're doing a character spotlight on Tyreese, was he killed off or whatever, because there's so many people who are in, other countries don't get to watch The Walking Dead right away, people in the UK and whatever. So I'm nervous about spoiling things for people. That said, this one does contain spoilers. If you guys haven't seen The Walking Dead TV series up to current date, then you might not want to watch this. So it makes sense. We'll do two Tyreese topics or a character review and the Martin question both in the same video. So first of all, the Martin question, because obviously in episode 9, Martin brings it up. What would have happened? He kind of spins the what if type of situation. If Tyreese had just killed him, Martin claims, or at least in Tyrese's hallucination of Martin, right? Because it's not actually Martin. It's not actually Martin's ghost. It's Tyrese's hallucination of him. Believes that Gareth and the others would never have been pointed in the survivor's direction should Tyreese have just straight out killed him. Whether or not that's the case, we don't really know. Can we conclude for sure that Gareth and the others would not have been able to track them without Martin having told them kind of where they were at or maybe where they headed and gone from there? It's possible. Let's just go with that it's possible that if Martin, was killed by Tyreese in the premiere right away, right? Because, he attacks the baby, right? And we'll get into this a little bit more with the character, spotlight character review. But let's assume Martin's ghost, Martin's hallucination is correct, that, Gareth and the others would not have been able to track down Tyreese and the survivors had Tyreese have just killed them right off the bat. So that said, if that was the case, if he was dead right at the start, okay, you would not have had Gareth and the others attacking them at the church, taking Bob hostage, right? However, Bob still would have died because he was bitten when they were going to the food bank, as Bob's hallucination says, right? One way or another, that situation would have played out the same way. In addition to that, Daryl and Carol would have still gone to Atlanta to try to get Beth, right? So the others would not have been able to leave. They would have had to have stayed there. Now, here's the main difference. Had Bob not have gotten captured and taken and everything like that, the others would have been missing. Rick and the others would have definitely stayed. They would have definitely, stayed there. But Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene may have left on their own, right? Because they may have said, okay, well, we're not staying. You guys can stay and take care of that or whatever. They may have tried to talk them into it, but Rick and the others would have said, no, we need to stay. We need to take care of this. Them not having that threat from Gareth and the termites or the hunters, so to speak, they may have gone off on their own, and who knows what would have happened as a result of that with regards to those three. They may have left by themselves without Glenn or without any of the others because there wouldn't have been that agreement there, right? Now, that said, would they have found out on the road or not? Would they have come back? Would the same situation have played out that way? That's really hard to tell. That's really hard to tell whether or not Eugene would have, came out in the open and admitted what happened. Let's say he did and they came back. The others the others mostly would have been gone, but it sounds to me like maybe the group that went into Atlanta would have been bigger, right? Would have had Glenn, would have had some of the others that would have been able to fight because they would have had more numbers, since some of them wouldn't have left with Abraham and the others. So that said, would the strategy have gone different, or would they have tried to do the same thing? Glenn being there, I would think that he would all back up Daryl's strategy and Tyrese's idea, which is to try the trade, capture and trade situation. because Glenn, that's still who we are, and that in the premiere even talked about there, so you could see that he was still, that side of him was still there, and he probably would have gone along with that. Had they have just attacked, then yeah, the situation would have been different. Having more numbers would have helped a lot. But it to me anyway, in my opinion of Glenn and the character he is, he would have just wanted to do the same thing that they did anyway. So really, in the long stream of things, if Tyrese had killed Martin right off the bat, it probably wouldn't have changed almost anything except for possibly where Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita are. They may have separated from the rest of the group and not have come back. Aside from that, when you break it down logically, at least in my opinion, the way I see it, it sounds to me like really it would not have changed anything in the long run. Most likely, aside from Abraham and the others possibly not have rejoining the main group. However, they could have as well too, because there was still that huge amount of zombies, in front of them, and Eugene may have just told anyway, right? Regardless that because he wouldn't want to go through that one way or another. So he may have told Abraham and Rosita by themselves anyway, right? In which case, literally nothing would change. So I'm going to lean towards probably mostly nothing would change. It would mostly be the same. Had Tyreese actually have killed Martin originally, wouldn't really have mattered. Doesn't matter. So, of course, that's the first part. Write your comments below, what you guys think about that. Do you think, now, this is just my opinion, but what do you think? Do you think that it would have actually, changed any kind of major circumstances or anything like that? I don't think it would have. So it's just my thought. But leave your comments below. So the second part of this, giving my thoughts on Tyrese's character now that we've had about a week, and it's not really spoilery for me to post a character review, character spotlight in the channel, because right after it would have been. So, because people could kind of tell, okay, you're doing a character spotlight, did this character die during the premiere, that kind of thing. So that said, what do I think about the TV series version of Tyreese? Now, he's a lot different from the comic book series version. He's kind of like, I would compare him mostly to, I don't know who, because he's really different in the TV series than he is in the comic book series. I do think Chad Coleman as Tyreese does a great job. He definitely looks the part. He looks just like the comic book series version to me. He's like, identical, kind of looks like a linebacker, that kind of thing. He's got that kind of build. He's got the broad shoulders and everything like that. Physically intimidating. Probably one of my favorite ones is where he slams. He double leg takedown slams Martin in the, in the premiere. That was awesome, man. Really, really, really awesome. However, the second part of that, him choosing not to kill Martin, that's where you kind of go back. That's where I kind of go back and forth on, when it comes to my opinion of the TV series version of Tyreese. At first, back in season 3, when he premieres as the mid-season finale, Made to Suffer. So he comes in with a group. Of course, he's with Sister Sasha. You've got Alan and Ben and Donna, who was bitten. If you guys remember right off the bat, in season 3, he has that kind of scuffle with Alan. They don't see eye to eye. They're kind of opposites, and Alan feels Tyreese has emasculated him by saving Donna in front of him. Because Tyreese is basically, I get the feeling he's the leader of that group. At least that's my opinion, is that he is the leader of that mini group, so to speak. Comes into the prison afterwards, of course, had the whole thing with the governor and all that. Decides to go back. They've joined with the Woodbury group, and we see a lot of concentration with him in season 4, which was great. We see what happens with Karen and David, the reaction to that, and then finding out that Carol was the one who did it. So with that, he finds out Carol does it. This I did like, because he chose not to kill Carol, right? Or not to, hold her responsible for what she did. Now, I can see that. Even if he's a super badass type survivor or not. It doesn't matter. Daryl probably would have done the same thing. Because he felt that she had done what she thought was right at the time when she did it. Was it the right decision to make? Could she have waited? Could she have given them more time? I think she definitely could have. It probably was a mistake. She may have jumped the gun a bit early. But, she wanted to protect the prison group. She wanted to protect the others with having so much death so far in the series. Maybe she got a little death paranoid and she wanted to take action right away and kill them right away before anything else happened, before it spread any further or anything like that, right? Okay, she made a mistake. She jumped the gun a bit. That said, they may have died anyway. We really don't know if they would have survived, because they were like some of the first ones to become infected. We don't know if they would have pulled through or not. I think we can probably assume they probably wouldn't have, right? So he forgives her for it. And I understand that. That makes sense. I think that Yeah, that's good. I don't have a problem with that. That's not any kind of mistake or anything. And I did like that he forgave her for that. So I was cool with that. That makes sense. I think you go into season 5. So, I mean, aside from that, getting into season 5, taking care of the baby, that would be his main, his main contribution. I would think is forgiving Carol, saving the baby for sure. Bringing her back to Rick, which was huge. Something I really really loved. Because it was different from the comic book series. In the comic book series, he wasn't there at that time, so he couldn't have done that. So I did really like the fact that he had done that. He saved baby. You're the kind of guy that saves babies, right? So and Martin, he did have a good sort of nemesis there with Martin. If you know how Beth had Dawn and kind of that sort of villain, he had his own kind of villain. He had Martin. I mean, so the whole decision for him to not kill Martin, it was kind of like because Martin had asked for him to do it, had kind of bet him to do it, and he decided not to. It's kind of like the Batman Joker thing. If you guys are you like Batman or the Joker, where Batman will never kill the Joker, but the Joker wants him to, right? So he never will. So, it's kind of similar type situation. Martin is trying to is telling me he has to. Tyreese is trying to win this argument that he doesn't have to, so he doesn't. Even though he probably should have, and Martin was probably right, he doesn't. So it's moral that he doesn't. It's, he's got that ethics in question. It's honorable that he doesn't, but he probably should have. That said, I mean, we shouldn't let that be the only defining thing about the character, because that was kind of, maybe a mistake, maybe. It's kind of like the Randall question as well, too, back from way back in season 2 with Dale and that, and what's the right decision to make. I guess we can't really fault Tyreese for that. So in the end, he was a strong survivor. He was a cool survivor in terms of killing zombies. In terms of survivors, other survivors that are evil, like Martin, the termites, people like that, I think like Dale and like some of the other characters we've had, Herschel, he's not quite at that point that he needs to be when it comes to other survivors. When it comes to zombies, he's tough as nails. Goes into a group and is able to hammer them out and everything. Awesome stuff. But with regards to other survivors, he wasn't really where my interpretation of the comic book series Tyreese was, and he wasn't really willing to do that. So sooner or later, I think that would have killed him anyway. Really, it doesn't really matter that much anyway, because sooner or later, that would have been his downfall, because you have to be able to defend yourself against other attacking groups and things like that in the zombie apocalypse. And he wasn't, right? So that said, I would have liked to have seen him in the series a lot longer, I think. I think they could have used him for at least 2 more seasons. But, they have their reasons. They want to have deaths every so often throughout. We've actually had a lot in season 5 if you consider Bob, Beth, and Tyreese. That's quite a bit. It's pretty death heavy if you think about it in terms of major character deaths, I want to say. Because those are major characters, I'd say. Every single one. Even Bob, because they gave him a lot of time, and he was cool. He was cool all around. So, ideas on Tyreese. I would have liked to seen more from him. I think they could have used his death in a better way than they did. They kind of used him as kind of a random, unpredictable death, similar to you guys you're gonna laugh, but similar to T-Dog, kind of. Just gets bitten randomly by a zombie. I think they could have probably given him a better death than that. It was kind of random, but it does reinforce the fear of the zombies again, and I'm sure that's what they're going for. That said, gonna miss Chad Coleman as Tyreese. Was a great character in the series, I think, even though he was kind of wishy-washy with regards to other survivors and that kind of morality. He still did a lot of great things, saved the baby, forgave Carol, and I think his performance, Chad Coleman's performance, was polarizing. I do think that he was a really, really easy character to like, really likable, body slamming guys and smashing zombies with a hammer. Pretty awesome character, I think, but I do prefer the comic book series version over the TV series version because he was a bit wishy-washy in the TV series. That said, we do need some characters like that, here and there. We don't want to have everybody like Rick, who can easily kill and doesn't think twice about it. Has no trouble with it at all. I do think it's cool to see other characters like Tyreese that maybe do struggle with it a little bit. But focusing on the character himself, I would say that all in all, I did like his time, and I would have liked to see them do some different things with him and for him to survive a little bit longer. But that's just because I like the character, and that's a good thing that we did like the character, I think, because you got to have characters that you like too. It's unfortunate we don't get to see more with him. Kind of like a Dale situation, I guess. Would have liked to see a little bit more with him, but oh well. It's a TV series, not a comic book series, so I can understand that they may not want to have certain actors and actresses around longer than they feel like they need to, because of budget, and actually you got to pay them and everything. Comic book series, you just pay Charlie Adler, the artist, right? So those are my thoughts on Tyreese. Let me know what you guys thought about him. Write your comments below. Did you hate the death? I didn't. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. It was okay, but not the best. I would have liked to see more from him, but I did like the character quite a bit and what he was able to do in the series, and I did think he was a very likable character. Let me know what you guys thought about him, how you felt about the death, how you felt about maybe the Martin thing, the good things that he did do in the series, and his couple seasons, because 2 seasons is not bad, in the show. With 16 episodes, 2 seasons is not bad for a character, even though season 3, was it 16? Yeah, well, yeah, about 2 seasons, let's say. Or, yeah. Yeah, 2 seasons. Anyway, so I'll call it here. Let me know what you guys think about all of that. And, of course, see you back tonight for the review for them. Can't wait to watch it, of course, as always. If you like the video, like it. Want to favorite it, share it. Would appreciate it. If you're new, you want to subscribe, feel free to subscribe. You're just going to click the button. It's right down there. Yeah, it should be down there. Okay. See you guys tonight. As always, it's Trev. Same peace.